Coach Matt Rhule from Temple on the line. The Owls are 4-0 overall, 1-0 in the American Athletic Conference. Temple was in action last Friday at Charlotte. Temple won the game 37-3. And up next for the Owls will be this Saturday against Tulane at Lincoln Financial Field. That will be a noon Eastern time start, and the game will be televised on ESPN News. Coach, thanks so much for joining us on the call today. If you take a minute to tie up the road win against Charlotte on Friday, and tell us what you'd like to see as you return for a home game Saturday against Temple, please.
Well, obviously very proud of the team to go down, as I told them, to go on the road for the third straight game, get a win, new place, a team we're not very familiar with, in the weather, and just keep playing and playing and playing until we finally broke through and won the game. I was very proud of our guys. I thought that Charlotte was an extremely well-coached team. I thought the back, Khalif Phillips, was the best back we've played so far, and we struggled with him at times. So we have a lot to work on as we prepare for an outstanding Tulane team, a team that we beat on the last play of the game last year. We have a lot of respect for how they play. Coach Johnson's done a great job. And I think the thing that they remind us of is Memphis last year. Tanner Lee has made a huge step. We feel like with his development, he looks like a big-time quarterback. He's got a lot of weapons. Both backs are extremely fast. And then defensively, they play with a lot of swagger. They play with a lot of juice, confidence. The inside guys, Redwine, Smart, all those kids, they are as good as anybody will face. Nico Marley is a dynamic linebacker playmaker. Eric Thomas is as well. They really are a complete team. They'll play man coverage. They'll challenge you. So our work will really be cut out for us. And, we're excited to get back home, play in front of our fans, and hope that we can put together a complete game against them.
We'll take questions for Coach Rhule, please. Star 1 on your telephone to join the queue. Then the operator will introduce you.
Our first question comes from Donald Hunt with the Philadelphia Tribune.
Matt, how you doing?
Hey, Donald, how are you?
I'm doing great. Listen, Matt, you had a lot of guys that contributed to that great win against Charlotte. But why don't you talk about Nate L. Smith, who had a couple of really big plays for you?
Yeah, Nate L., really proud of him. I mean, I think he really stepped up, made a great play on special teams, made a really nice play in the secondary, picking that ball off. He's a guy that has a lot of talent. I think he's really matured. He's been playing better and better as the year's gone on. He's really helped us in the secondary. And the one thing we've always known about him is he's a playmaker. And if he can stay healthy and stay focused, which he has, then the sky's the limit. And I thought you saw that on Saturday with a couple of big-time plays.
Yeah. And, it's amazing how he's been able to help you on special teams as well as in the secondary. That really shows a lot in terms of his versatility. Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, he's just a really good football player. I mean, he can, he could probably go over and help us on offense if we ever needed him to. He's got great hands, great instincts, and he's a really good kid. I mean, he'll do whatever you ask. And so he's a guy who can make plays on the ball. He can catch the ball, and he can also be physical in the run game as well. So looking forward to him just continuing to, make those plays that he made to help us win that game.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, sir.
We'll take our next question from Dan Tortora with Dan Tortora Broadcast Media.
Hi, Coach. How you doing today?
Hey, Dan. How are you?
Well, thanks for asking. I know it's obviously early in the season, but it was something that was brought up a little bit earlier on in the teleconference, the fact that there's 4 unbeaten teams in the American, yet none in the rankings, kind of building respect for this conference and knowing that you're one of those teams that started strong. What's your take on the American when looking at all of college football?
Well, I think we've beaten, when we've had a chance to play teams from the so-called Power 5 conferences, I think we've competed at a high level. I know, just to name, we beat Penn State. I know we've beaten Virginia Tech. I know we've beaten Louisville. I know I'm missing a couple of the big ones, I know, because I'm just not that, my brain's, not that, locked in on. But, we've had a chance to go play at that level, and our teams have shown that we can play at that level. And so I think this is a really good football league. There's a lot of really good teams. And I think we're as diverse and as well-rounded a conference as there is.
When you look at the diversity and the well-roundedness of the conference, what can you say are some of the things that you respect the most as what you're trying to do for Temple, and then when you look outside to the other teams in the conference?
I just think there's a lot of really good coaches that run programs their own way. I think it's a fun league when I had a chance to watch a lot of football on Saturday, and you see It's obviously Cincinnati beating Miami was a marquee game the other night. When I see the way Cincinnati and SMU and those teams are a little bit more spread out play, and then have a chance to turn on Navy. I mean, who wants to play Navy? They're so precise and they execute at such a high level. They're so tough, and we play a little bit differently. I mean, so there's all these different styles, all these different brands, but when we're going in the national spotlight, guys are winning a lot of big time games.
Thanks, Coach. I appreciate it.
Sure.
We'll next go to Mark Narducci with Philadelphia Inquirer.
Hello, Matt. I just wanted to ask you, you got a lot of guys in the other night because of the game and everything. It seems like your injury situation is pretty good. Where does it stand after 4 games?
We're pretty good. We have a couple young guys that are injured. We've talked about TJ Simmons before, Kareem Ali. Some of those guys have been banged up. But overall, I mean, we're a pretty healthy team. The bye week came at the right time for us.
The other thing is, Rhule Armstead got 11 carries. I know you talked about having some of the younger guys take some of the carries, and I know some of it was because of the score of the game, but he was also in there for meaningful time. How important do you think he'll be going forward from here?
He's a really good player. I thought he bounced back. He fumbled the opening kickoff, which obviously when you're a rookie, when you're a freshman, that can mess with you a little bit. But I thought he came back and had some really nice runs. So we think his role will continue to get bigger and bigger each and every week.
Thank you.
Sure.
We'll next go to Greg Paone with Owlscoop.com.
Hey, Matt. Greg from Owlscoop here. How you doing today?
Hey, Greg. How are you?
Good. Just a quick question. Big win for you guys in tough conditions this week. But what do you want to see your team clean up on going into the Tulane game this week?
Well, I think our tackling on defense, I thought the running back got the most of us. And we put 3 balls on the ground, which we haven't done. That's not something I'm excited about. And I thought our field goal protection was terrible. So there's, obviously many more things. There's always things to work on, But as I told our team, we're going to play football that way. We're not going to be a 70-17. We're not going to beat people, we're going to play tough, hard-fought, close games. So we have to execute what we do, and we can't miss tackles. We can't give up big plays, and the big plays reared their head in the first half again. So there's a lot that we can get better at.
Thanks, Matt.
Sure.
And we'll next go to Michael Geis with the Temple News.
Hi, Matt. How are you?
Hey, Michael.
All right. So in the first half, your offense is through 4 games that totaled 34 points, but in the second half, they totaled 79. What's the difference between the passing and the offense?
I don't think there's a difference. It's just the way we're playing. I mean, we're running the football and being physical, which, you're not always going to come out and really out-physical people right away. It's a cumulative effect. And so, we believe in, body blows, just, keep, like a boxer, keep going to the body, keep running the football, keep being physical. And eventually, the 4, 5, 6-yard runs become 7, 8, 9-yard runs. Eventually, the drives that are going for 5, 6, 7 plays go for, touchdowns. And so that's just kind of the way we're built. We're gonna play that way. And if we'd love to score earlier, don't get me wrong, we catch a couple balls on Saturday, we might have scored a lot more earlier. But it's just the way we play. When you run the football the way we're trying to run the football, it's a cumulative effect, and you're hoping that you can win the game in the fourth quarter and just kind of wear people out.
Conversely, the defense has shut out the opponent out of 9 out of the 16 quarters this season. How does that give confidence to the offense knowing that the defense is going to go out there and do their job and the offense is going to do theirs?
Say that one more time, buddy. The last part you said, no, you can give them confidence knowing what?
Yeah, the defense has shut out opponents in 9 of 16 quarters so far. How does that give confidence in the offense knowing that the defense is going to go out there and do their job and the offense just has to do theirs?
Yeah, I think what we're trying to do is we're trying to just play really good team football, and I think our whole team understands the plan. They understand, hey, the first thing we're going to try to do is play great defense, and part of that is we're going to run the football. We're going to try to be really good on third down. I think we were 50% last week, which was outstanding, and try to keep the opposing team off the field. I think we're leading the league right now in time of possession, which in a league that has Navy, that's really hard to do. So we're just trying to play really complimentary football, and I think the team understands, hey, this is the plan. This is how we're playing. And so, we can't get caught up in statistics. We're not going to ever have a ton of yards because, we started with the ball at the 41-yard line. We averaged field position last game. It was outstanding. It was a really nice job by the special teams and defense. So they just all understand, hey, we have a good defense. We're gonna focus on that and build ourselves around that and play great team football.
All right, thanks, Matt.
Sure, Mike.
We'll next go to Henry Clay with Keystone Sports.
Hey, good afternoon, Matt. How are you?
I'm great, Henry. How are you, sir?
Doing well. Couple of questions. One, the TV announcers really talked about how well and the impact that Tyler Matakevich has made on football, not just Temple football. And he's one of just a few that has, had 100 tackles every year in his career. Could you talk about the leadership? I know he spends an enormous amount of time in the film room. The leadership that he's brought to this team.
Well, I think one of the things he does is he allows himself to be led, and he leads. He allows people to hold him accountable, and he holds other people accountable. And so many people want to be leaders. They want to tell other people what to do, but they don't want to be told. And he's just a great team guy. He loves playing with his teammates, and he wants to try to bring everyone to a different level. And so you see that in practice. You see that in the games. I mean, half the time in the game, he's yelling at me from the field. He just wants to really raise everybody's level of play. And so I think you see it in the meeting rooms, you see it on the practice field, in the walkthroughs, and you certainly see it on the game field. So a lot of guys in his situation that are really talented, they worry about just themselves, but Tyler never does. He worries about the team, and I think that's why everyone respects him so much.
And my second question is, after the halftime, it looks like the character of this team was taken to a second level. Could you talk to a bit, and you addressed it a little bit, talk about the character that this team has, and I think it believes in itself.
Yeah, I definitely think they do, and I think it's one of those deals where, we're not talking about, none of these kids have ever, been to a bowl game. They haven't won at a super high level yet, and so, it's all a learning experience. And so I think as we get in different situations, we as coaches just keep trying to point out, hey, this is the next step, and they've trusted us, and they've continued to move forward. And so, you get into some half times, it's a close game. And you just have to keep reminding them, hey, this was our plan. Go out there, be physical, try to win the game in the fourth quarter. And I think you see a very confident team come out of halftime, and that third quarter, I thought we played like, hey, this is what winning football looks like. So I think we have just a great group of seniors, a great group of juniors, and a good young crop of kids that are all sort of bought into the process of in the brand of how we play, and I'm happy to be able to coach them.
Thank you much, and obviously good luck this weekend against Tulane.
Thank you, sir.
And we have time for one more for Coach Rhule, please.
We'll next go to Sean Pastor with Owls Daily.
Hey, Matt, how are you?
Hey, what's up, Sean?
Oh, pretty good. So I had a follow-up about Tyler specifically. It seems this year I see him more singled up in pass coverage, and he's given up a couple plays against UMass, I think against Charlotte the other night. In terms of him, where is he as far as in, coverage? And are you singling him up? Are you willing to single him up more this year than is it just something I hadn't noticed in the past?
Yeah, it's the same defense. I mean, I think, really in the UMass game, they took advantage of it, and I think he was counting on some help from somebody that he didn't get it from, so sometimes those things look like it's one guy, but it's kind of a combination of guys, and then, they hit us on two wheel routes in the game where he wasn't playing man, he's playing the run, and it ends up being a play action, and it's like, oh shoot, and you turn and you run down the sideline, and obviously everyone knows that was your guy, but it's just our zone, and every zone coverage when they run a wheel route, someone has to run with the wheel, and on Saturday that was him, so but yeah, it's just the same defense. It's the same thing that he's been doing for a couple of years, and he does it really well a lot of the times. And unfortunately, in the UMass game, this past game, he and some other guys have kind of given up a couple big plays. Whether it's been trying to do too much or hey, got in a bad position. So we're trying to make sure we do a good job of putting him in the right positions. And at the same time, guys, just getting out there and making the play that we know they can make.
Is he a pretty capable coverage guy? Because, that's going to be a question.
Yeah, in Cincinnati. Yeah, anytime something goes wrong, people are going to start to. But at Cincinnati, he's man-to-man on the back on 3rd and 4. He knocks the ball down. It's a big-time play, right? And against an offense that, if you saw him against Miami, obviously they're pretty good. They can throw the ball pretty well. So, he's making a lot of those plays. He's not the only, but when you play man, when you have some responsibilities, you get beat, you have to deal with it. And so, but there's more than one guy that we have to get a little bit better at. But I think it's been mainly his eyes, not just his coverage of just playing the run, and all of a sudden it's play action, and we got beat.
Okay, thanks.
Sure.
Coach, we thank you for your time this afternoon. Look forward to talking to you again next Monday.
Sure. Thank you.
All right. That's Coach Matt Rhule from Temple. Again, the Owls take on Tulane at Lincoln Financial Field, noon Eastern Time on ESPN News.